Let's talk now to the former governor of Florida. Jeb Bush joins us here in the studio. Good to see you, Governor.
Good morning, George.
So Paul Ryan really electrified the crowd last night, but it's quite a gamble, especially here in Florida, to put Medicare front and center like that, isn't it?
You know what? I thought it was an inspired choice because it immediately allowed the Republicans to be on offense. Now, you know, the conversations about the $700+ billion of cuts over 10 years that is used to finance this
Let's talk about that. Those exact same cuts are included in Paul Ryan's budget.
But not to expand an entitlement, to protect the trust fund over the long haul. The Obamacare, you're basically double counting. He's claiming credit for making this revenue neutral, which is true if you count these cuts, but then that accelerates the demise of Medicare. And that's a good conversation to have here in Florida and across the country.
You know what Democrats say? They say that he reinstates those cuts in order to finance his tax cuts for the wealthy.
Well, you know, look, we've already had that conversation, and you know, that's a good argument to have for Democrats. If they want to take money away from people consistently, it'll create this cloud of uncertainty that allows us to have no economic growth, no hope, no optimism. And I think Paul Ryan and Mitt Romney have a compelling case that's better.
You know, Paul Ryan last night really laid out a conservative philosophy as well. And you said yesterday in a forum here in Tampa that this conservative philosophy will prevail if Republicans stop acting stupid. What did you mean by that?
Well, I'm a huge Paul Ryan fan because I think he's the kind of Jack Kemp conservative that is hopeful and optimistic, that our message needs to be that way. It needs to be aspirational rather than scolding. The tone has to be positive. And Paul Ryan is the exact kind of Republican that I would be advocating for.
What have Republicans been doing that's stupid?
Sending a signal as it relates to issues like immigration that it's only about border control rather than about how we create a climate of economic growth. It's a gateway issue for an emerging voting population in our country, Hispanic voters, Asian voters. The country is becoming increasingly diverse. My message was really about the long haul. You know, demographics are destiny, and if you just ignore it, you do it at your peril.
Big moment for Mitt Romney tonight. You know, I was talking to Rick Santorum, who ran against him last night, and he said that Romney's got to reach down and show more of himself than he's ever been willing to do before. Yeah. Is that the right advice?
It is good advice. This is something that's going to be hard for Mitt Romney. He has to, where it matters is connecting with other people's concerns. I don't think he has to be like this new age kind of guy all of a sudden. He's not going to be that way.
But it's interesting, both your father and your brother at their big moments did do that. It's kind of an essential requirement to run for president, isn't it?
It's important to connect emotionally before then. That gives you the chance then, I think, to allow people in. You're allowed in, and then you can make your case.
Governor, it was an emotional moment for your family, I imagine, last night when they showed that film of your father and your brother and their wives, and it got a great reaction here from the crowd. I know you've said you understand why your brother shouldn't be here in Florida, but is he watching? What has he said to you about the convention?
I think he's watching it, and I know he's interested in it. He cares about this country, but his attitude is, look, I had a chance, I served, I did my best. It's Mitt Romney's night. It's his turn. I'll do whatever I can to help him. And strangely enough, it may be better to stay away to provide the most help.
Your night tonight as well. You'll be speaking right before that big surprise. Who's your guess on who this big surprise guest is?
I don't know. But it's pretty cool that there is a surprise in a convention. Hadn't been one of those since 1960, I think.
It's been a long time. Governor, good luck tonight.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
Take care.